going to learn how to rewrite an expression in completed d-squared form. So completing the square. Now, as you know, one of the ways in order to solve quadratic equations is to use completing the square form to solve. As you already know, general form of quadratic expression is ax squared plus bx plus c, in which a, b, c are real numbers and a is a non-zero number. Now, step by step, I explain how to rewrite an expression in completed d-squared form. Then through an example, I will again show you how it is done. Step 1, put the constant term aside. Why I mentioned I use this term aside? Because if it is equation, you can transfer it to the other side. But if it is expression, so for expression there is no equal sign and there is no other side to send to the other side. So I put it aside, then at the end I will put it back in its own place. Step 2, factor coefficient of x squared, which is a. So we should factor coefficient of x squared in the second step. Step 3, add and subtract square of half of coefficient of x. So half of coefficient of x is added and subtracted. Step 4, write in the form of identity 1 or 2, which is one of these forms, x plus k squared or x minus k squared. Now, let's see an example here. Now I'm going to use the points I mentioned, to convert this quadratic expression into completed d-squared form. There are two methods. First, I use the method I just mentioned. Then I use the other method, which is frequently possible to be used in A-level papers to rewriting completing completed d-squared form. Now I rewrite the expression 2x squared minus 12x plus 3 is equal to, sorry, there is no equal. Now, as you see here, you have 2x squared minus 12x plus 3. So I step by step here do the same thing mentioned in the instruction. First step says put the constant term aside. So the constant term is 3. I put it aside. So I rewrite 2x squared minus 12x. I write plus 3 here. Then at the end I will put it back. Step 2, factor coefficient of x squared. Coefficient of x squared is 2. I factor it. So be careful, I'm not factorizing. If I want to factorize, you should take the highest common factor out, which is 2x here, but I'm not factorizing. I'm just factoring coefficient of x squared. So it would be 2x squared minus 6x I leave space here, plus 3, which is our constant. Third step says add or subtract a square of half of coefficient of x. Now, let me change the color here. Coefficient of x here is -6. So half is multiplied by multiplied by 1 over 2, or we can say divided by 2. So half of it, a square of half of it, is added and subtracted. Do you see, if you add and subtract, as if nothing has happened to the equation, because when you add, you will change it. You are not allowed to change the equation. You are supposed to change the form of this equation. So we subtract the same thing to cancel out the effect of this expression. So these two, cancel out each other, so as if nothing has been done. But you get help, by adding and subtracting to change easily the form. Now, as you see here, let me again calculate this part. Minus 6x plus, you can write minus 3 squared minus 3 squared plus 3. Just I want to remind you these two identities. A plus b squared, as you remember, is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and a minus b squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Now, if you see these three terms together, x squared minus 6x plus minus 3 squared is forming this identity. So I rewrite it x minus 3 squared. Now I write this one minus. Instead of minus 3 squared, I can write minus 9, because negative 3 to the power of 2 will be 9, times negative will be negative 9. Be careful, power is first calculated, then multiplied by negative. Don't multiply negative and negative to make it positive, which is wrong. Then plus 3 at the end. The students ask, where did 6x go? It is hidden here. When you expand, when you open these brackets, so you will obtain this one, which is 2ab. 2ab will become 6x. So it's not omitted. Now I expand it again. It will be 2x minus, I'm gonna open the brackets, 2x minus 3 squared, then 2 times 9 will be negative 18 plus 3, so it will be 2x minus 3 squared minus 15. Now it is written in the form which we wanted to write. Now, it is the first alternative. Now I go for the second alternative here. I again copy the question here. Let me open a new page. Now, as you see here, the question is directly mentioning the form in which you are going to write this expression. In the previous, I used those steps directly to write, but now I can get help of this expression. In the previous method, in the last page, I convert these to this form. Now I'm going to the, in the opposite direction. I want to convert this expression to this form. Now they are supposed to be equivalent at the end, because form is going to change, not the expression. So it's supposed to be equivalent to this expression, x minus q squared plus r. Now, I write the left hand side because the left hand side is not going to change, opposite to the previous method. I expand this one. We already know that this will be x squared minus 2qx, using identity 2, plus q squared plus r. Now again, I write the left hand side, which is not changing, is the same as now I expand. px squared minus 2pqx plus pq squared plus r. Now compare what you have obtained by the original expression. Two expressions, both are quadratic expressions. When they are equivalent, when they have the same variables with the same power, and the corresponding coefficients must be the same. Now I start with x squared. X squared here must be the same as equivalent to 2. So p is equal to 2. So the first number, which is p, is obtained. Now coefficient of x here is minus 2pq. Sorry, I forgot x here. So minus 2pq must be minus 12. So minus 2pq should be minus 12. Minus cancel out. P was 2, so I replace it. Q should be 12. 2 times 2, 4. 4q should be 12. So q is 3. Now let's go for the constant term. Here constant term is the term independent from x, in which there is no x. Here is the constant term. The constant term here is 3. They must be the same. So pq squared plus r is equal to 3. P was 2, q was 3, plus r must be 3. So it will be 3 times 3 to the power of 2. It will be 18 plus r is equal to 3. So r is negative 15. Now I rewrite it in this form. P, what is P2? X minus Q, so x minus 3, s squared minus 15. It is exactly what we got using the previous method. So if the form is mentioned like here in the question, you can use either of the methods, the previous method or this method. Or sometimes it just says write 2x squared minus 12x plus 3 in the completed the square form. So you can use this, the previous method, and there is no difference. Both result in the same answer. Thanks for watching this video.